Hey guys, so today it's time to work on the push mower. I don't think y'all have ever seen this mower. Like I was gonna make a video on it at one point, but it just never happened for some reason. But this is an old 1980 model push mower. It's not the original deck. The deck's been changed, but still nothing's ever been really done to the engine except about every 3 or 4 years you gotta sand the points. And that's really about the only thing that's ever happened to it. I did hit a stump or a root with it one time and sheared the flywheel key. It's always, I'm pretty sure my dad probably rebuilt the carburetor at one point on it. But his dad, my grandfather, bought this mower brand new in 1980, and it was, but it's got to the point where it needs some work done to it. And this is a Model 9, probably considered a 3 or 3.5 horsepower. It's got the auto choke system on it. It works off like vacuum on it. The air filter probably needs change on this. It's probably in bad shape. But here's the problem we got. And this mower is always kept in a shed. It's never exposed to rain or anything. I always try to keep it clean, but it is old. And this deck, like I said, is not the original one, but it was an old deck when it was changed. But I want to paint it up. I got a slightly darker color, which I think will look good on it. My dad painted this last time, probably about 15 years ago. And it's funny how things go. I always try to change the oil in the lawnmowers every year. It's not as easy to change on a push mower as it is on, say, a riding mower. But this oil's probably been changed, I'd say, twice in the last 20 years. And I changed it the last time, which is probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And it don't smoke or nothing, but every now and then when you first start it, you'll see a little puff of smoke come out. The motor still runs good, got plenty of power for a small motor like this. The muffler's kind of rusting a little bit. I've always been afraid to try to take it out. I don't have a hamburger style muffler to put on. I do have a hot dog type muffler, so I might decide to change it, or I might just leave it on. I'm going to paint the engine too. Just kind of dress it up a little bit, But we're going to have to, I'm not going to do a step by step on this, but I'm going to pull the engine off and all the wheels and everything so I can weld this so you can see everything's flexing on it. So hopefully we can fix it. If not, we'll have to find another deck to put this motor on, because definitely want to keep this motor a good motor. It's got the throttle where you push it all the way down to shut it off. And a lot of newer push motors like this don't have a manual throttle like that, and plus the pull rope's all the way down here, and there's no safety features on this. This predates the blade brake system on it, so it don't have the band brake on the flywheel or nothing. So, but yeah, let's get started on it. I'll just show just a little bit here and there. I mainly want to concentrate on the repair of it, and we're going to change oil in it too. So let's just get started on it. I always thought a mower looked funny without the handlebars on it. Looks like a remote controlled lawnmower or something. So it's also rusted out in this spot up here in the front of it too. Okay, so I got the motor off of it. This is actually a 78 Model 9. I thought it was a 80, but it's a 78. The 7 was hiding. This is the blade. Probably the original blade. I mean, it's been sharpened a lot. I sharpen it every couple of years. I'm going to sharpen it while it's off, of course. You just got 3 bolts that hold the motor on. A lot of times they'll crack around here in places. I'm going to clean all this up and paint the bottom of it too. The wheels are wore out. I don't have new ones to put on it yet, but they'll be on my list of stuff to get. It also needs a new chute for it. The plastic chute broke a couple years ago, and I just never changed it out or anything. So, like I said, it's not going to be a step by step. I just kind of want to hit and miss on what it's going to take to fix up our old lawnmower. Alright, so we got it completely tore down here, and it's starting to get weak on this side too, so I have to figure out how I'm going to reinforce that. And this side will be the easiest part. I'm just going to cut a plate out here, bring it out to where the good metal's at, drill these holes in it, and weld it in the best I can, and probably put another little piece right here. Alright, so I got the two handle brackets off of it now. You can really see how bad it is. And a lot of you are probably thinking, why don't you just buy another mower, you know, but you know, I like to fix things before I buy a new. I mean, the new mowers ain't made nothing like the old mowers are. Nothing is, as far as that goes. So I always try to get all I can out of it, and if I can't fix it, yeah, of course we'll get another deck for it. Might want to put the same engine back on it, because I don't like the new overhead valve engines. And the metal I'll be working with is this 1/8 inch steel that's left over from the top of the workbench. So anytime you're doing something like this, same way as body work on a vehicle, you really want to cut out the bad metal with the rest of that. So I made a paper template here, kind of the shape of the piece. And kind of do it like this, and probably put another piece over it and bring it over just to strengthen it even more. And I'll have to do the same thing on this side just to keep the spacing right on the handlebars. Okay guys, so I got off on the dimensions a little bit. It's short on the bottom part, but other than that, it's close and it's got the right shape to it, so we're going to go with it and put another little piece in at the bottom. It actually bent pretty easy. I thought that was going to be the hard part, and it was actually the easiest part. It took forever to cut it. So I'm going to get this centered and just fill in the gap with the wire welder. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be better than it was. Alright, so I pretty much got it tacked in place in about 3 spots there. It seems to be sitting in there pretty good. I'll have to, once I get this welded, probably pound on it just a little bit to bend that to get it to line up right. And like I said, we're probably just going to plate this side right here. I think that'd be the easiest way to fix that problem, and try to weld it from the inside too to seal it. Alright, so I got a plate of metal cut and put it on the back side so I can weld all the way in here, then weld around the edge on the inside of it. Just really strengthen up, get all the holes drilled, get two 3/8 bolts, line it up, and the welding pliers clamping it all together. So I'm going to weld here and down here, and I got a pretty big gap here, so I have to put these up here in order to weld that part. So let's look at it here in a minute. Okay guys, so I got them all patched up best I could. It's not perfect. I had to drill all these holes as you've seen in this plate. About the best I can do with it. It seems like it's pretty strong now, so I'm going to sand it down a little bit and paint it. I'm pretty much going to paint it off camera just to speed the video up, but you'll see it once it's done, and we'll make like maybe a time lapse of putting it back together or something, you know, just to make the video a little interesting. And here it is after running the DA sander on it, 80 grit paper. It's got down pretty good. In time we fill a little bit of primer in a few places, it'll be perfect. It's a lawnmower. It's not going to be perfect, even if if you get a brand new one in a couple of years, it's going to dull down and everything, no matter how much you take care of it. Alright, got the coat of paint on the underside of it. Kind of give you a preview of the color and show a little tip I'll share with you. It's the first time I've ever done them that actually worked pretty good. These are the original wheels that came off of. You've seen how bad they were. I soaked them in this container with a mix of Dawn and bleach for about 24 hours. Then I rinsed them off and let them soak again for another 24 hours and just rinsed them off. They pretty much look brand new again. Alright guys, we're getting ready to start putting it back together. I'm just going to put it on a time lapse just to speed the video up a little bit. It turned out pretty good. That's a dark hunter green is the color of that Rust-Oleum. You can see where I patched it at. And it turned out pretty good. Not perfect, but you know, it's just a lawnmower. And in a year or two, it'll dull back down again. Just put the fresh oil in, as you see on the time lapse. So now we'll get ready to start putting the wheels on first, then the engine, then the handlebars, just reverse order. Alright guys, so we pretty much got it all back together. Try to give you a couple different angles of it. Like I said, those wheels turned out really good. Just soaked in that stuff twice. I still need to get a chute for it. I don't have one to put on it. If I get one before I put this video up, I'll put a little note on it at the end. I also painted the throttle cable. It's the first time I've ever done that. Painted it silver. New spark plug from Champion CJ8. Look at the old one here in a second. New air filter in it. It was falling apart. Changed the oil. You see me putting the fresh oil in it. I used Valvoline SAE 30 mixed with 25% Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer. That seems to be like the magic formula for small engines. They really like it. If you're wondering what paint I used on the engine, because I painted the muffler, it's a Rust-Oleum high heat paint. It'll smoke just a little bit, but it'll stay. It's a semi-gloss, and it'll stay like that for a while. The paint on the deck is just a standard Rust-Oleum spray paint, dark hunter green, and another Rust-Oleum black on the handlebars. I almost started to use like a textured thing for like tool handles and stuff on there, but I talked myself out of it. The deck's no longer flexing like it was. Still just a little bit, but that's normal. It just feels sturdier. I also bent the forks out on the handlebars a little bit. Handlebars are crooked. They've always been like that. I just kind of got used to it, so I didn't mess with it. But so let's get ready to start it. It usually starts in like 3 or 4 pulls. Where it's been moved around, the gas is probably out of the reservoir, so it might take just a minute to start, but it usually starts right up. Also sharpened the blade on it. The blade measures 19.5 inches, so I don't know if it's actually a 20-inch blade is what it is, or if it's a 19-inch blade. Like I said, this engine doesn't smoke, but every now and then when you first start, you'll see just a couple little puffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see that right now, especially where it's been, sitting around different angles and stuff. It might smoke quite a bit at first, just in case the oil got in the carburetor or something. With these, you always got to remember that your shutoff is all the way down on the throttle. I usually run it probably about a quarter throttle. I'll usually stand on it right here and crank it, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to take a chance of scuffing up the paint in it. This has that automatic choke that works off the diaphragm, so when you shut it off like this, it'll be choked again. Sometimes this type of carburetors are like the flood, so it usually takes about 2 or 3 pulls to get it to start after you shut it off like that. It may not be hot enough for it to do that. Well guys, it seems like it's running good. Like I said, if I find a chute for it, the video will be cut and it'll be added into it right now. But if not, we'll go ahead and end it and say thanks for watching, guys. We'll call the project done. Hopefully my dad's happy with it. I'm sure he would be. He don't even know I'm painting. He just knows I'm welding the deck and everything. So it'll be kind of a surprise for him. So, well guys, thanks for watching. If you got any questions or comments or anything, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching. Also forgot to mention, See that shiny nut right there? One of the holes in the crankcase is stripped out on the mounting bolts, so I had to put a nut on there to tighten it up. I forgot to mention that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.